What is happening? My name is John Denton. Thank you very much for joining me. Naz back with a new album, King's Disease. A big request for this one, was always going to cover it. Naz, phenomenal, one of the greatest of all time. Working with Hit Boy. Gonna get straight into it, guys. If you want to see this uncut, that is there. Patreon link down in the description. Please do jump on and support the channel if you'd like. Come follow me Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm not gonna hang about. These intros are always too long. Let's go. Naz.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Agent, without misery, I made more paper to play with. No rap in my playlist. Sold dimes on my.
Listen, I'm gonna always be a sucker. You know me now. You know me by now. Maybe you don't, but if you do, you know I'm a sucker for beats like this. Always, from the old Kanye days, from the old Jay-Z days, but also straight away Amazing Grace. I'm gracefully aging without masonry. I made more paper to play with. I've got to have my ears switched on.
Man, they let it box me in, cause you are not a king if you can't come out a thing. That remember crowns, remember kings. They want your reign to cease. Invested in things only a vet would.
It's just about to say, veteran. This is what a veteran in music should sound like. Wise, smart, like confidence in a self-assured, like a self-assured level of confidence that just comes with experience. And the great thing about rappers as they get older is that they don't lose their pen. Well, the great ones don't seem to anyway. As opposed to like rock and roll guys who maybe they run out, I say this all the time, they run out of riffs, they run out of songwriting inspiration.
Pledge.meetfreemondays.com. You can do it right now, please.
A guy like Nas, he's got something to say, but he still has the ability with his pen to make it sound so beautifully poetic. And like, I can't say everyone's like that because this is one of the greatest of all time, but still.
Is it really worth it?
Woo!
On instead of skin bubble, more wet we guzzle. Chris Lighty lit me in a few times with nines.
So it reminds me of that old track by The Game, West Side. I can't remember the exact name. I'll put a clip up.
Razor cutter, 90s, 80s lover, raised in gutters, raised a bucket. They made it about the hood subject, I made you love it. Put his name on the street sign, there where you from. Whenever we hear his bangers, flare for blunt.
I mean, talk about still having it. Jesus. I'm loving this so far.
Just opened my new office, West Coast branch. Place my teacup on the saucer, it's Esco, man.
People don't understand a line like place my teacup on the saucer. It's Esco, man. The image that creates, the effortless confidence, the fucking, like he says it, bossed up straight after us. That fucking real bossed up image of just placing in that environment, placing a little teacup on a saucer because that's the level he's got to. People don't understand the power of a little line like that. You don't always need to fold in 50 double entendres. You don't always need to over-explain everything. If you're really that good and that concise, you'll just say something like that. Who would have ever thought of that? Where did that come from? That's greatness.
Big Queens. NYC.
Oh, you're gonna give me a beat like that with some Charlie Wilson? I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy.
They call me Babyface in 88. Her 40th and Broadway, they made me stay and wait. Just a little nigga smoking weed. Fried. I'm just trying to figure out who to be. Nas. That's if you really miss me. I did. Show proof. 10 niggas outside our building. That's what I go through.
Just painting images of the past, and it's crazy because obviously we've heard Nas spit from this past, or at least, you know, a few years after this. He's talking about the late 80s. Illmatic, what, 94? Just to hear him with that sort of elder statesman style, but reminiscing. And again, just painting that picture. I was just completely into that image there. That combined with the music.
Square. We take it from there. Just ride. Just ride it. Oxygen out your esophagus. I survived when stick-up kids was dropping shit. The rotten apples, the tabernacle. That's it, why.
My mere presence got other guys terrified. Slap oxygen out your esophagus. I survived when stick-up kids was dropping shit. The rotten apples, the tabernacle. That's New York. Jesus. So far so good. Let's take a look at this album art. This is pretty dense. Okay, I need to really take a look at this album art properly. So, I mean, there is going to be depth and symbolism here that I'm not really too sure about. So I'm seeing like, there's angels, but they're angels with sort of African black faces features, so that's obviously, you know, grabbing the king. There's rotten food here. Is it rotten? You know, like skulls and money, like standing on top of, guess it almost symbolises standing on top of like the death and plunder of America's past, maybe? I mean, there's a lot here. Listen, I'm not going to try and figure it all out just by staring at it. Quite a striking image. I like the colours of it as well because it looks beautiful and amazing. It's a pretty amazing cover. I love covers that you can really go and dive into, and Nuz is a guy that doesn't need a commercial cover. You know, he's beyond commerciality at this point.
When Ultra Black, I got a toast to that. We don't fold the crack. We going occasion we rose to that. Fuck on postal. How I look being told I'm not supposed to brag. Nobody fault. I tell the truth. I know what's fast. Talk with a mask on. The freshest breath. African black soap caress the flesh. Two-stepping. Sometimes I'm over black. Even my clothes are black.
Not unlike the cover art, this is a song to really dive into so many sort of complicated bars, obviously talking about true current black pride in America, and himself also talking to his son, jumping between classic black milestones in American culture. We're talking about his own resurrection and his own legacy and stuff like that. Like I say, this isn't one of those ones to just catch a few bars on the way through. This is music to listen to multiple times. This is music to digest on multiple listens.
Unapologetically black, the opposite of Doja Cat. Michael Black's black. We going Ultra Black.
Unapologetically black, the opposite of Doja Cat, obviously all the stuff that she went through. And then I heard her talking that she's going to release a song called Nas.
The song that I have coming out is called Nas, but only if you abbreviate it. It's 3 words.
NAS supposed to stand for something. You know, I could certainly think what it's supposed to stand for. Certainly not going to say what it's supposed to stand for. I mean, that feels like an artist that's going to burn brightly for a few seconds and then disappear off the face of the planet not much longer afterwards, unlike an artist like Nas, who's, you know, coming up 26, 27 years in the game, still doing this.
Got a toast to that, we don't fold the crack. We don't fold the crack. Occasion we rose to that.
It's a powerful track, it's an uplifting track. It's not a track that comes and kicks your door down, it's rather a track that makes you sit there and think. And I just like the line here, no matter your race, to me, we all are black. We're obviously talking about the fact that, you know, humans all came from Africa originally. The ridiculousness of dividing people up by the colour of their skin is just, it's the most backwards way of thinking, and I fucking hate it, but at the same time you have to also live in the reality of existence and acknowledge the last 4+ years of what's happened in the world. So you can't just pretend like it's a non-issue. But, you know, the idealism would be that it is a non-issue. And I think that's what ultimately the world has to strive towards, but it can't just do that in blinkered, utopic fashion. You know, you have to, things have to be worked towards that, structures have to be changed, systems have to be altered, you know. But that's a much more complicated conversation for a different video. But no, it's just really delivering on this record so far. Okay.
Bitch, I'm in a good mood, good groove, pull me up.
Man, it's weird to hear Nas on this type of beat, but it's definitely working.
Rich, matte black rose, yeah, I gotta see a ghost. Blowing cush clouds and we all for the smoke. Bitch, black car, black rose, more black CEOs.
Strong, short, to the point. Big Sean and Don Toliver on this one. That's a strange combination. Less Big Sean, more Don Toliver. I'm interested to see how this one works.
It get kinda hard to replace me, so don't go looking for nobody else. I'll be riding times for better latex. I bet I'm living it up, I'm so spacious.
The thing about Don Toliver is he has a great voice, and you can tell, obviously they use a lot of effects on his voice, auto-tune, all that sort of stuff, but you can tell for 2 reasons. One, he has a wide range of notes that he can hit, but he also has a great tone to his voice that can shift. He can kind of shift that tone and use that tone to convey different emotions in what he's singing, like a great singer. But he's doing it within this style, within this kind of lane that he is. I mean, Travis Scott doesn't have a great voice, but he has a great tone. His use of his voice is excellent, a lot better than a lot of people who make music like this. So that was a nice chorus.
It's whatever, we thuggin'. New product every season. 50 ball on the budget. If it didn't occur.
Yeah, cool track. Very different vibe to the rest of the album so far. Sounds almost like a radio track, but without being like a generic radio track. Talking about relationships and things like that. That great chorus. Okay, it's working for me again, man. This is very good.
Words got a lot of power. You know I'm good at reading you. I spent like 10,000 hours. I must have bought you.
I'm letting it go into another one. You got a lot to lose, but it's all basic.
Yeah, man, it kind of had almost like a 90s R&B vibe to it. It felt like I sort of jumped into the past a little bit, but with a modern style as well with Don Toliver. And sort of like 3 generations of artists there, in obviously a legend in Nas, probably a future legend in Big Sean, and, you know, a real upcomer, a rookie in Don Toliver. Cool track, not like mind-blowing, but yeah, enjoyable, very enjoyable. And we've got Lil Durk on this one, who's having a hell of a week working with a couple of legends in Drake and Nas.
Baby.
Struck the myth, you just depressed the bitter. Only good for sexing with ya. Let's dismantle that. It's a man you lack. With bad tempers, we defeat each other. Single mothers, my heart's bleeding for you. It's coward men that were beating on you. Never me. Let's silence them with a silencer.
A poignant line there, these coward men that were beating on you, let's silence them with a silencer. Obviously, you know, there has been accusations of domestic abuse by Khalees to Nas.
You know, there was a lot of drinking, there was a lot of just mental and physical abuse.
He's obviously talking about his innocence there and condemning it in general, but, you know, okay, interesting one.
Diabolical games put on our future kings and our future queens. Y'all the strongest ones. These fallen soldiers and why to the go. Late night outside, you hear the 40 drum.
I was 7 at my mama crib, she ain't know about it. Complaining about my ring, but I know my mama gave me. I'm talking where we from, we carry Macs but no computers. He got out yesterday, but he went in when he was due.
It's like a cross-generational track, but like a cross-generational sort of, it's like an extending of advice, but an extending of deep understanding from Nas there. And I think Lil Durk came off really well there as well with the melodic stuff, but with depth to what he was saying. And where we from, we carry Macs but no computers. It's like people don't necessarily understand. And I would count myself as one of those people, but I do my best to just listen. What the difference in life is like from somebody who perhaps doesn't go through the pressures and struggles that a lot of the black experience in America and in different impoverished parts of America and here in the world. You know, it's not necessarily a racial thing, but there's a huge reason it's racial in America given the history of that country. And you have to just fucking understand that, you know, so much of what happens and what you end up being is created by the environment in which you're raised in, and some people end up thriving from that, like a Little Durk, and some people get crushed under that. Some people get pulled into certain pressures. Everybody gets pulled into certain pressures in life, but when those pressures can be that dangerous, when you get sucked into the kind of trap, as they call it, where the only way out seems to be through gangs, through drugs and stuff like that. Listen, I'm not talking from experience, but I'm also intelligent enough to understand pressures and environments. And I think it's so important for an artist like Nas like this to connect with an artist like Lil Durk on a song like this, and for other people to listen and to kind of see potentially that pathway out, but also for other people to hear that and realise that it's like, this very much could be you, even if it's not you. It could have been you, just with a different roll of the dice. Do you know what I mean? Just easily, or anybody can slide into different environments either and end up in certain ways. So I think the ultimate thing you have to just have is like empathy, compassion and understanding for everything. And then once you have that, then you can start to, it's just about listening, to be honest. Listening is so important.
What's the world? It was all good.
Man, those drums, and then we got Anderson. I've got high hopes for this one.
Till it went bad. It was all good till she went bad. First good morning, good night, now she leave me on red. I'm disappointed, it's different chicks who want it. Can't lie, for a minute I was sick to my stomach.
It's funny how this album has just kind of like drifted into R&B, kind of like romantic elements a couple of times. It's probably not what I was expecting given the other tracks, but you know, it's a nice little change of direction on the record, to be honest. I don't think the song's outstanding or anything like that. Anderson not currently like going full tilt, which you kind of always want, but again, it's another good track. There's nothing really bad about this record, yeah, but there's nothing that's also knocking me off my chair and making me lose my mind.
Even took you to the barbecue. That should show how much I fuck with you.
I know I gotta make the choice, shit is overdue.
Actually, Anderson's killing this, which he always does, doesn't he? I mean, Jesus.
Yes, Lord! Wave grease with amaze geeks and freeze fly chicks where they stood. I never lost a step, stay splashing. This is you, stalling. Guess we through you, ignore me. Days go.
That's so old. Oh, they hate my one-word answer, so here's two. Call me. Nobody under the age of 40 would ever care about calling people. That's such the most over 40 thing to care about.
Right now, there's a group text battle going on between
I'm not involved in Texas.
Ari, Joey, and a mystery texter. Who's the other guy on your guys' text?
Some moron. I don't want to get texts on my phone at 8 in the morning. People going back and forth like idiots. Yes, no, yes, no. Just call me and get it over with. What are we gonna do?
Come on, I hate to take a loss. Man, I hate to take a loss.
I actually really like that track in the end. The chorus and the pre-chorus really started to work for me. Nas's flow on that second verse was killer. It was just a nice kind of light. So even though it's about breaking up, but you know, you do need a little bit of light and shade, I think, in a record like this, because if it's all heavy all the way through, it can be difficult. It can be draining, and that's just the reality of it. So there's having a little bit of light in there, even though it's a breakup song, I think helps hit home the other tracks. That's probably one of my favourite tracks on the record, I'd say.
Evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Traffickers, African, Latin, wiretappers. Here come the people, run my people, they don't treat us equal. Politically, it's principle, they try to stop me. Powerful people will silence you, they try to mute you. Scorn woman wanna slump me to fade me to dark. King's disease, I cure the shit with my art. Definition.
King's disease, I cure this shit with my art. I was just thinking, like I said before, you know, like the great rappers seem to still have it after all of this time, even as they get into their 40s, as they get, you know, towards 50. Nas is in his 40s, right? But it's because they still have stuff to talk about, do you know what I mean? And the reasons for a lot of that, unfortunately, is because how fucked up the system is and how fucked up the country is over in America and everywhere, really. But at the same time, you know, King's disease, I cure this shit with my art, is such a powerful line. This is a powerful track. Again, the beat is working with the flow and everything like that that's making a lot of these lines hit home.
Y'all that IE weather.
With drop dead gorgeous, living a lie. Oblivious to beauty inside, truly defines. Will you walk with me, or are you there for the ride?
This is like a reformation, a reunion of The Firm. Listen, I'm not going to try and pretend that I really knew about The Firm, so I'm just kind of listening to it. I think this is like a cool moment. In hip-hop history, it's not my favourite song on the record.
Everything comes back around. Full circle.
Dr. Dre.
What up, hit boy? One of my favorites.
Yeah, cool moment. Wasn't my favourite track, like I said. Cool to hear Dre spitting at the end there. It's been a while.
Still coping and dealing with my environment as a kid. I trust no one today because what someone in my past did.
I was talking about before, you have to understand environment, history, trauma, and you have to listen and be compassionate and empathetic towards that, and also put yourself into different situations to understand things better. Can't we just like block ourselves off in life? It's not going to get us anywhere.
Got their eye on you. Produce great results, they start to lie on you. Is a love for a Queens dude in Supreme shoes? That's unheard of. A hood that's known for murder, now doing mergers. The streets is a lie. Don't believe these dudes.
That's a bar. Creating jobs, named my venture from after the land I came from. That's unheard of. A hood that's known for murder, now doing mergers. That's a fucking bar. Sunlight. Always someone mowing or drilling outside my house. Sounds like All You Need Is Love by the Beatles, right?
You can do it right now, please.
Partners live past the linens, but linen's the hardest. Stay on your path, stay on your craft.
Is this actually a Beatles sample? Because it's got Beatles, not many Beatles samples, man. And McCartney's live past the Lennons, but Lennon's the hardest.
Roll the credits.
Okay.
Belong in the MoMA. So boomerang, you salute my 27 summers. Rolls Royce Brigade, just cause it go with the moment. Able to cork twist. I'm studied like a book by many. They give me looks and shit. Still going deeper like I grew a new inch on my dick. We looked at Robin as a way of result. Right on some bridge shit. Like MC Shan and Marley, I be on some bridge shit. Got some more shit. I used to run the block, now I'm corporate. Hopping out, you know it's sun when the doors lift. Brooklyn sweet chick, waffles with raspberry butter. Wear a mink at the roller rink, middle of the summer. Pricey, cost money, beat the charge money, fast money, push the start money.
These all white nights, they ain't right. She tell me no, I'm getting tight. Look, every time you saw me, I was nice.
Make a grill with Tiffany's on my gentleman shit. My drill niggas out in Brooklyn and they spinning and shit. Over here, old killers with the guns and the knives. Better run for your life.
Yeah.
Fivio. I thought it was Fivio. Fuck knows. I'm English. Give me a break. Yeah, that was a really, really good bonus track. That beat hit what killed this whole record. This really did feel like the elder statesman of rap, still showing he had tremendous ability with his pen, tremendous ability on the microphone, high level flows, brilliant wordplay, brilliant bars, great production, beat selection all the way through, and a lot to say about the state of America, the state of the world, the state of black culture in America, and his own status as this elder statesman, as this legend, as this veteran. But he's not just a veteran, he is a legend, one of the GOATs, and passing on that knowledge, but also maintaining relevance without sacrificing who he is. First reaction score, I'm going to go with an 8. It was diving down into a 7.5. It was very strong all the way through, but that 10-point secure and that bonus track really brought it back up. Really good project, classy, not too long, cover art, just felt like masterwork, a master at work. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it just felt like a master of his craft. Guys, that's it from me. If you wanted to see the uncut reaction, that is there on the Patreon, link down in the description below. But all this way, you're not subscribed. What is going on next? We're close to 200,000, and do you know what? You know what's funny? It's 1 year to the day in which I took this journey solo, so thank you so much for the incredible support. Guys, I'll catch you on the next video, alright? Peace.
Yes, Lord.